Okay. Okay. I think we're live now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. How you doing, everybody? And welcome to a Sunday edition of the John Riley Project. And this is a really special day for me because I've talked about this gentleman many times. His name is Dennis Butts from the Postal Annex here in Poway. He's a good friend. And we always talk sports, Dennis, when I visit your store. And now we finally get to do a podcast episode.
Well, we've been talking about doing this since before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Here we go.
As they say, let's do this.
Let's do this. So you've got your Laker gear on. So you're ready to and your Dodger. Oh, it's a Dodger hat.
Yeah, it's a Dodger World Series championship hat, if you will.
God, I was just rubbing it in already.
Yes,
it's like on a Sunday morning. Okay, so I just want to let everybody in the audience know we are live streaming. So that means we'll take your questions and comments. We're going to be talking, as you can see here, we're going to be talking Dodgers and Lakers. We'll probably be talking about the Padres and the whole world of sports, right? You know,
Yes.
and we'll learn a little bit more about Dennis and his business here in Poway and his backstory. But anyways, how you doing, Dennis?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been waiting to come to this studio for over a couple years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's all good, So, let's just jump right in and talk about the Lakers. I mean, since you've got the gear on and everything.
Right.
And what's your take with the team right now? I mean, there's a lot going on with Russell Westbrook and I guess is Patrick Beverley coming to the team. I mean, what's your take on how the Lakers are doing?
He's obviously coming for defensive purposes, and I was sad to see that I believe it's THT Horton Tucker was traded and part of that deal. So, but you got to trade quality to get quality. So, and I know if my memory serves me right, Beverly's in his upper 30s, but he's one of the best defensive players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And the new coach of the Lakers, Ham, is that's his goal, is to improve on the Lakers defense from over last year.
Right. Okay. I mean, well, when Hacksaw comes in here, we do the podcast, and I love it when Hacksaw's here.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking a lot about Russell Westbrook and the Lakers. They were trying to trade him, but why do you think Westbrook isn't really working out with the Lakers?
Maybe I don't know. I hate to use the word ball hog. Okay, and he shoots some impossible shots that he can't make. He's not really a shooter, and on the scale of 1 to 10 right now, I think Lakerland is his jersey number 0. Okay, they were talking about trading Westbrook and Anthony Davis for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which I was all over, but I guess Durant decided to stay in Brooklyn and they worked it out.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens moving forward. The season's right around the corner.
See, I don't get it, man. When athletes wear the number 0.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are some exceptions that do make sense, like Keyshawn Johnson, the ball player for the Aztecs, the basketball player. He's from Oakland, so he always wears a 0, an O. And if you're Jim Otto, right, the center
Jim Otto.
for the old-time Raiders guy, but Westbrook wearing a 0 it just seems odd to me.
If my memory serves me right, was it Woodridge? He was 00, or when he was with the Lakers, if I'm saying his name right.
Well, because he was Orlando, right?
Orlando Woodridge. Is that it? Woodridge?
It was.
I would say
it was Wood. I think it was Woodridge. Yeah,
it's been a while back. So,
yeah.
So I can't wait for basketball season to start. It's a brand new slate, and everybody's in first place. How's that?
Well, where did the Lakers finish last year?
I don't even want to remember, but it wasn't good.
It was like the first time in a million years that they weren't in the playoffs, right?
Playoffs? You talking about playoffs? I mean, that's what we want to do this year.
Yeah.
To make it to the playoffs.
Right.
Okay. Because once you're in, anything can happen.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, last year, injuries. I mean, Anthony Davis was out for probably more than half of the season. And again, I don't remember the games, but a lot of the games. And LeBron was hurt a lot of the games, and he didn't play, and they didn't play, but oh man, I think it was like 30 Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis was like, I don't know, not even half of the games together, all on the court at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't remember all the specific numbers, so don't make a comment. I don't remember everything. I'm trying to wipe out last year and start fresh this year.
Well, that was the fear, I think, last year, is that when we all knew the Lakers had all the talent in the world. They just were having injuries. They couldn't get their act together.
Mm-hmm.
But you figured if they even just got in that final playoff spot, they could go all the way. But, it just didn't work out.
Correctamundo.
Correct.
So again, we're looking forward to this year.
Is that a Chick Hearn one? The Correctamundo?
I don't know.
I think that's Arthur Fonzarelli.
I don't know who it is. I come up with all these things.
So, yeah, remember just like a couple of days ago, I was in your store and we were talking about the numbers that basketball players wear, right? And so my theory was that it's rare to see a basketball player with a digit of their number to be over 5. It's usually the digits are usually between 0 and 5. Because of the way when the ref has to call a foul on number 99. I mean, how would they do that to the scorers table? They have got to be able to go foul on number 23. But we were talking about numbers. I think I asked you the question about Kobe Bryant. And which number did you like best? Was it the 8 or the 24?
Well, I think I told you 24 because that was his original number when he came into the league. Am I correct on that or no?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think 24 was his original number, and then he switched through the years and went to number 8, which had a meaning. And again, I don't remember what that meaning was to go to number 8.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, August 24th is a good day to wear my Kobe Bryant shirt. It was Mamba Day.
Yeah.
So which I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I can always count on that with you.
Yes. And just like I wear Jackie Robinson's shirt on Jackie Robinson Day.
Right.
Which I think is April 15th or April 16th, somewhere in that area.
It's on, I know it happens to be on National Tax Day. So it's April 15th. Yeah.
I wear my number 42 shirt.
Okay. Well, good for you, man.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. I mean, whenever I go into Dennis's store at the Postal Annex here in Poway, he's always wearing Dodger gear, Laker gear. I mean, you even had a shirt on like a couple of days ago, and it was brown and gold, but it wasn't for the Padres.
Can I shake my head?
I know, but you're a good sport about it. I mean, you still root for the local team, but you want the Dodgers to be one step ahead.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last number I saw, I think the Dodgers, if they stay on pace, it's 112 or 115 games if they keep going on the pace that they're at.
Mm-hmm.
If the Padres win 111, great. Okay. No, I want them to do well.
Right.
And you got all this, what's the word? Drama going on with the Padres and Tatis, and it's sad.
It is.
Yeah. Now he's going to be having shoulder surgery for which he should have had last year.
Right.
So now at least he's doing it while he's on suspension and not waiting till his suspension's over, then do it.
So take me back a little bit. And why are you such a hardcore fan of the Dodgers, the Rams, the Lakers? I mean, you're here in San Diego County. So how did this happen?
Well, okay, let's back up even further.
Okay.
When I was a young whippersnapper growing up in Toledo, Ohio.
Well, the Mud Hens.
Yeah. Well, no, there was the Mud Hens. But,
yeah.
No, my dad used to take us up to the Detroit Tigers. From Toledo to Detroit. At that time, it was Briggs Stadium, which was Keeneline, Cash, Colavito. I could give you the whole lineup: Bill Freehand, Jim Northrup, Willie Horton, Denny McClain. I could go through the whole thing. But well, we moved to California in '65, and of course the Tigers won the World Series, if I remember, against the Cardinals like 4 years later, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to root for a local team.
That was like 67, 68.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3 or 4 years after we moved out here. And again, if my memory serves me right, they were down 3 games to none and came back and won, if I remember right. Mickey Lolich and Denny McClain and those guys. So anyway, we moved out to California and we moved to the LA area, not the city of LA, but the LA area.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated from a little town, Bell High School, if anybody's familiar with the city of Bell, okay, which is in the Downey, Norwalk, Bellflower area, if you ever heard of it. And I just became a Dodger fan.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah. And of course, I got hooked on Vin Scully. I hate to bring that up right now, but I've been a Dodger fan ever since. So I'm proud to be a Dodger. The Rams, when they were here in LA, when they played at the Coliseum, I was a Rams fan. I actually went to a Rams Dallas Cowboys playoff game in Texas and saw the
Really?
Yeah. 4 of us. It was on New Year's weekend, so we made a New Year's weekend of it. And the play I remember the most was Vince Ferragamo throwing a touchdown pass, excuse me, to Billy Waddy with like 2 minutes left in the game, and then the Rams moved on to Tampa Bay. And
this is like the late 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. And if I keep saying the memory thing, I think they beat Tampa Bay on 3 field goals, 9-0.
I remember that.
Okay, and then they went to Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, they played Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, which is at the Rose Bowl, and they lost.
Right.
But when Georgia took her team and moved to St. Louis, and it basically effed the fans here, and I say here, meaning LA area.
Yeah.
And so then I jumped on the Charger bandwagon, and I basically said, screw you, and I became a Charger fan.
Okay.
So obviously everybody knows the Chargers left town, went back to up LA.
Right.
Rams went back to LA, so I became a Rams fan again.
Okay, I get it.
Okay,
I get it.
So I can remember the fearsome foursome. And I think Wendell Tyler was the running. I mean, it was
Wendell Tyler.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And Fred Dreyer, who was Hunter on the TV series.
Yeah.
And Jack Youngblood, and oh God, what's the other guy's name? Jackie Slater. I mean, but yeah. So I was a big Rams fan in those days. So now I'm not, because they won the Super Bowl. When they moved back, I became a Rams fan again, and I said goodbye to the Chargers.
But you're rooting for you're essentially your home team.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that.
Good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the Lakers, I got hooked on Chicky Baby.
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually had the privilege one day at the Fabulous Forum. I won something on the radio, and I got to go have a lunch with a bunch of people with Stu Lance.
Really?
Yeah, before a game. So, of course, he's still going strong. And if I'm not mistaken, he's from San Diego.
He is.
I think he commutes. So I've been a Laker fan ever since.
He's still doing boxing, isn't he? And
I'm not familiar with boxing.
No,
not that I'm aware of.
Maybe I'm getting him confused with someone else.
Yeah, no, that's Lampley.
Lampley.
Jim
Okay.
Lampley does
there was
boxing.
a famous, and this is kind of a crazy tangent, but there was a famous broadcaster that was in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They was interviewing Spicoli, and I think that was Stu Lance. I think
could be. I don't know that.
Yeah,
I'm not really a movie guy.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I lost my train of thought. So anyway, I became a Laker fan. I was up in the nosebleed section at the game. I think it was the Detroit Pistons when they won their three-peat. Paid $1,500 for that ticket, but there ain't nothing like being there.
Oh, good for you.
Okay, so so my 3 teams, and I used to be a Kings fan. I used to go to the Kings games a lot, Hockey Kings. When they were at the Forum, I went to a doubleheader one time. It was the Olympic team in the daytime, like at 1 o'clock, dropped the puck, and then it was a Kings game in the evening. So spent the day down there, or up there, I guess. And so, I'm just an LA sports guy.
Yeah. Oh, right on.
Okay, I have nothing bad to say about the San Diego teams. I'm an LA guy.
Right.
And I told you many times, I don't root against the Padres. I root for the Dodgers, but I want the Padres to do well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know right now, and I'm going to use that term, on the bubble. They're on the bubble.
Yeah, they
are. I think they're like 2.5 games in to the 3rd spot. So we'll see what happens. That's why they play the game.
That's Denny Green, right?
Yeah. What did he say? Yeah, that's why we play the game. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's why we play the game.
Yeah. So, that's when he was the coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So
right.
He said that. So,
well, it's funny. It's like here in the San Diego area, everyone's from somewhere else, right? And so there's a lot of people that have adopted the local team, but there's people that they're from somewhere else, like you're from LA. And they bring their fandom into town, which is fine. And that makes going to the games a lot of fun. But there are definitely, not saying you're one of these folks, but there are definitely some people that are almost sort of anti-local team. Like back when the Chargers were here, there was a bunch of Charger fans, but there were a lot of Raider fans in town that had really no connection with LA or Oakland. I always thought that they just wanted to be Raiders fans just to stick it to the Charger fans.
Well, sad to say, when you went, which I didn't, but if you went to a Raider Charger game, majority of the fans there were Raider fans.
Yeah.
Just like now, if up in LA at SoFi, you go to a game up there, and the road team has more fans than the Chargers do. So we'll see what the future brings. If Spanos ever sells the team and they come back here, who knows? Maybe I'll be a Charger fan again.
Well,
I'm not a bandwagoner. I just, I have my teams.
Yeah. Well, I don't think an NFL team's coming back to San Diego. I just don't see it happening.
Don't know.
All the reports about the new stadium are terrific, but it's only 35,000. I mean, it's not an NFL stadium. The likelihood, I think, of a team coming here is probably pretty slim, sad to say. But tell me a little bit about like when it's amazing you were at a Laker game and saw the end of the three-peat.
Okay, and the other thing, just before I forget, the other thing I saw, which I'm proud to say, I was at the last game at, I believe it was at, I can't remember if it was Staples or Forum. Michael Jordan, his final game with the Washington Wizards at that arena.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was at that game too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was Staples or the Forum because I've been to both of them many times, but I don't remember which one.
How did he perform?
That's the Lakers won the game, if my memory serves me right too. So that's what counts.
Right.
Yeah.
But he still had it, right?
Yeah.
He still was productive. Yeah. He would, by then, how old do you think he was? Maybe like in his
mid-30s, maybe, or late 30s.
Yeah, maybe late 30s.
Late 30s.
Yeah.
Because I know he wasn't 23. Oh, he was 23. His uniform number.
Is that right? Yeah. Oh. 23 is a really popular number, right?
Yeah.
Not only is it
LeBron's old number.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Oh, Tatis.
Oh God! Why'd you bring that up?
Yeah, but there are a lot of 23s. It's a popular number. But it's cool that you were at that last Laker game. When they won the three-peat. What other special games have you been like at Dodger Stadium? Do you have any really good memories of games there?
Yeah, I do. The one that sticks in my mind the most. I would have to think about it, but I believe it was opening day. I think it was 2001. Jerry Royce, who was the pitcher for the Dodgers, I can't remember if he got hurt or if he was sick and he couldn't pitch. So guess who came in to pitch that opening day? Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
So I was at that game and they beat Houston 2-0.
Nice.
And the rest is history, as they say with Fernando.
Yeah.
With his eyeballs in the sky. I mean, what a great pitcher he was.
Was it El Toro? What was his nickname?
I think El Toro.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you were at that game.
Yeah. No, I've been to.
That's special.
I was at a playoffs.
Playoffs.
I was,
playoffs.
Sorry, John. I was at a game. It was the Doyers and Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals. And one of my nemesis, who used to be a Giant, Jack Clark.
Oh, Jack Clark.
Hit a home run off Tom Niedenfuer.
Oh,
and the rest is history.
That's when he was on the Cardinals, right?
That's what I said. I'm the Cardinals. Jack Clark hit the home run, and I cried for a week. But that's the way I was in my younger day. When my team lost in a playoff game, it was horrible. Horrible, John. It was horrible.
Just terrible. just terrible. You're channeling Bill Walton.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But that game, and I went to the I was at the Super Bowl, at the Rose Bowl. It was the New York Giants, Phil Simms. I believe it was against Denver and John Elway. And I think the Giants won that game.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
Well, if I remember, like Elway was in 3 Super Bowls in his youth, and they lost all 3.
So that might have been one of them.
And then he won 2 at the very end, including that one where he spun like a helicopter and scored a touchdown. Yeah, Phil Simms, I think, he won the Super Bowls there in the late 80s, and I think maybe even in the early 90s, right?
That was at the Rose Bowl, and a relative back in, he lives in Connecticut, big Giants fan. He's got the man cave Giants.
Oh, good.
Kind of like what you have here. And so he actually, they flew out and we all went to the game together, and it was a great time.
Right on.
Yeah. So Super Bowls, playoff games, World Series. I don't think I've ever made it to a Stanley Cup game, but no, I love it.
But you've been to the fabulous Forum, the Great Western Forum, right?
Oh, yeah.
To see a lot of hockey games.
Yeah. And I was lucky enough. I happened to be walking. I don't know what you call it. And there was a little where you walk into the Forum Club.
Yeah.
And walking out at the time was Bob Miller.
Oh, yeah.
The voice of the Kings at that time, who has since retired. And that was an honor, talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I made my mind just going crazy, man. I had, I look at all my notes. None. I did go to broadcasting school.
Oh, yeah. You told me about this.
I went to, this is again when I was I always like to say young whippersnapper. I was probably in my, I don't know, early 20s. Bill Waite School of Radio and TV, which was in Hollywood. And one of my assignments, I got to go to, I went to the, whatever it was called at the time, Anaheim Stadium, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And I got to interview Wally Joyner. I went into the dugout. I interviewed Wally Joyner, Bobby Knopp, and there was somebody else. I can't remember the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And so after the interview, the games or whatever, I got to sit right behind home plate. And I'm sitting there, watching the game, and I hear a voice down the aisle, and I turn and look, and Al Campanis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Doyer.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's before he was fired.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
No. So I turn on my little, what do you call the microphone, or what do you call my little cassette?
Yeah.
The little. I went down and talked to him for a few minutes.
Good for you.
Yeah. So it's yeah. And another one I want to mention that I just thought of. I took a passport photo at my store, and I'm going to do it this way. Matt Kemp, right field. He come walking into the store.
Yeah, he's a local.
Or he was.
Yeah,
he was with the Padres.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I'm going to say this. I don't know if I can almost. I'm going to say it. I almost crap my pants, man. I see the front door open. I go, Matt Kemp's coming into our store.
Yeah.
So that, of course, tickled me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we took an extra passport photo, and he signed the back of it, and I have it on the wall at the store.
Nice.
So I mean, there's so many things if I could think of them that. So yeah, as you can see, I'm proud of those things.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great that you went to broadcast school and you got a chance to interview some of these guys. And like, I was just listening to watching the Padre game a couple of nights ago, and Don Orsillo and Mark Grant were talking about Wally Joyner. And Mark Grant talked about, oh yeah, he's a good egg. It's kind of his shtick. But Orsillo had never met Wally Joyner, and they both just love the guy. They just think the world of him. I mean, what did you feel? What was it like meeting Wally? What did he talk about?
Come on, John, I'm a 20-year interviewing an athlete. How do you think I felt? I'm interviewing Wally Joyner.
Yeah.
Of course, at that time he was with the Angels.
Yeah.
And Bobby Knopp, and I can't remember who the third one was. Maybe it'll pop into my mind. But sorry to say, I don't have any of that stuff anymore. My tapes and cassettes and everything that I did during that time, I don't have anymore.
Right.
So, but don't know. But I also, here's one for you. Went to a Dodger Angel game, sitting behind home plate. Of course, you know who I'm pulling for.
Yeah.
And sitting down on the rail, couldn't see. He comes walking up, Tommy Lasorda.
Nice.
Yeah. I go, hey, Tommy, and just off the top of my head, I don't know how I do this, but off my top of my head, I said, who was your third baseman? I think I threw this one at you before.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I said, who was your third baseman when you guys won the World Series in '88? Right away, he said Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have remembered that.
Right.
Hamilton. It's like kind of saying Hacksaw.
Yeah.
Hamilton. I want to talk sports with you guys this morning.
Yeah.
So so again, as we're talking, things will probably pop into my mind.
Yeah. I remember we had this conversation, like a week or two ago in your store, and for some reason I was thinking that the third baseman was it wasn't Wallach, but there was another
Tim Wallach.
Yeah, Tim Wallach. No, there was someone else that was a third baseman that was sort of a scrappy guy that was an overachiever.
Hatcher.
Hatcher.
Yeah.
That was the one. Not there's another H name. So
Hatcher.
That's who I thought the third baseman was.
He said Hamilton.
Okay.
Jeff Hamilton.
I mean, you can't argue with Tommy, you know.
Not now, you can't.
Yeah, well, yeah.
God bless us.
But what year did you meet him? When was that?
I don't know, probably 20 years ago.
Okay, but he was retired for sure by then, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When did he wrap it up? Was it probably in the 90s, maybe?
I don't remember.
Wow. He's a character.
He was.
Pardon me.
He's like me. Yeah, or I'm like him. I bleed Dodger blue.
You do.
I do. So I hope we don't get any responses to that here.
It's okay. We got some people on the live stream. You got a couple of comments here.
Oh, good.
From some people.
Okay. I can't see it, so you have to.
Well, it's right here. It comes on the bottom of the screen here. Mike Devine checking in, just one of our frequent listeners and followers. And here's from an anonymous Facebook user.
Okay.
It says, I'm a bandwagon fan. I like whoever's winning.
Good job.
You never lose. And then he says, except the Padres. Unfortunately, I like them no matter what. And
good for you.
You know, it's a labor of love to be a Padre fan. You know, you got to just stick through the tough times.
Yeah,
and it's
50 years of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we've had a couple of times in your store, we've had a couple of, I mean, there's been a lot of sad news. I mean, with LA sports, I mean, there's a passing of so many like great people. And I just remember when I visited you was shortly after, you know, when Kobe Bryant passed. I mean, that really moved you.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
So I mean, just the outpouring of love and support from the community when that happened just made you realize what kind of a cultural icon. He wasn't just a sports icon. Kobe was more than that.
Yeah. He was, you could almost say the number one, well, it's sports related, but like number one, the WNBA. And he was a big fan of the women's league. And of course his daughter played.
Right.
And he looked up to the gal that plays up in Washington. I can't think of her name off the top of my head either. But yeah, I mean, he's one of those that, you asked the question, where were you when that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of those that as long as I can remember things, he'll be the one that I can remember that I was at Costco picking up a pizza and my cell phone did the old the ESPN thing. And I took it out of my jacket and I looked at it and I said, oh my God, Kobe. And all the phones in Costco were blowing up. Everybody was getting the same alert that I did.
Yeah.
And I say to this day, John, that I don't know how to say it, but it was on a Sunday. So I'm not at work and I bawled my eyes out all day laying on the couch. And my phone was blown up. Yeah. Of friends calling me, hey man, blah, 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 because they know how I felt. Yeah. And I mentioned to you at the store at that time, which was probably like January 27th of 2020. Okay. Because his helicopter crash was in January 26th, 2020, just before the pandemic. And I mentioned to you that another icon, when he goes, I'll have the same emotion. And it was Vin Scully. And it happened. Good life, 94 years old. So, yeah. And there's more, there's more that I'm sure I can think of that passed. But of course, Tommy Lasorda, we talked about him.
Oh, already. Yeah.
So there's a lot of, I mean, not just Dodger people, but when athletes, it's, obviously it's sad because it hits home because, we're sports people. Yeah.
But it is a little bit like, the JFK thing, it's like, where were you? Or 9/11, where were you?
JFK thing. I was in the 8th grade sitting in Mr. Geiss's history class and they came up on the intercom and said, we got news, blah, 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 that, Dallas shot and blah, 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 blah. Really? In the motorcade. And yeah. So
you were in Toledo, Ohio when that happened?
I was.
Yeah. Good for you.
I was in Toledo, Ohio. So that's one of those moments. Well, I remember May 5th when his Bobby Kennedy got shot at the hotel in LA.
Yeah, there's certain things in life you just remember, they stick with you. Well, I just remember when the announcement when Kobe had tragically passed, the TMZ broke it first, and at first I thought, oh, this can't be real.
Yeah.
I was in disbelief. I didn't think this could actually happen, but then it became real. So, I mean, just for you as an LA fan, I mean, you love your teams, you love your guys, you're loyal to your guys, not just the players, but the guys in the booth.
Oh yeah.
We talked about Chick Hearn and Vince Scully and
Bob Miller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And now they got, I say they, meaning the Dodgers, Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday. They got Omar Garcia-Parra and
Oral
Hershiser. I mean, so they got some good ones.
yeah. So so I know for me, I was born and raised in San Francisco Bay Area, and then I moved to San Diego, and in both cities, I was not a Dodger fan. They were always kind of like the what do they call it? The
enemy.
The evil empire, they were the West Coast Yankees.
Yeah, there you go.
And so for the longest time, I've always been, not a Dodger fan, but I appreciate like legit Dodger fans because and you're one of them. And there are so many really great reasons to be proud. I mean, the whole Jackie Robinson thing, I mean, it's just a fantastic story about how he broke into the league and the Dodgers made that happen. And, the Dodgers had Vince Scully, like, the all-time best. I mean, the all-time great. And Dodger Stadium it's older now, but it's still a fantastic venue.
I think it's the third oldest stadium in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fenway and Wrigley are 1-2 or 2-1 or whatever, and then Dwyer Stadium.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be proud of, for the Dodgers and being a Dodger fan and Rams fan, and you think about how those teams they rose to prominence all at the same time that the LA area was rising to prominence, as it became a bigger metropolitan area. I mean, I always think of like Vince Scully and Chick Hearn is sort of like and Bob Miller as well, sort of like the narrators of the history of Los Angeles, more so than just the sport that they covered.
And again, I've been using this line a lot. If I remember right, Chick Hearn's the one that recommended Bob Miller to be the Kings announcer.
Right.
Yeah, if I remember right. So
let's take a walk down memory lane. Okay. And tell me a little bit about your days when you went and saw the Tigers play. I mean, in your youth. I mean, when did Tiger Stadium open?
Well, let's go back. When I was going to the games again, it was Briggs Stadium.
Okay.
And my dad used to take my brother and I. We used to go up to the games, and it was like an hour road trip. And as I say, it was Cash came. And speaking of broadcasters, that was I used to listen to him sitting on my front porch with my transistor radio.
Yeah.
George Kell and Ernie Harwell.
Yeah.
Those two guys both were great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I believe George Kell passed away, and then Al Kaline became one of their announcers, who he has since passed away too.
Another class act.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So but I mean, obviously that was, I hate to say it, 60 some years ago. So it's kind of hard to remember all the specifics, but I do remember going to the games, and I do remember the lineup. Okay. As I say, Cash, I could give you,
give me the lineup.
Bill, Norm Cash, and they called him Storm and Norman.
Okay.
Dick McAuliffe, I think, was second base. And I'm going to jump out. There was Willie Horton, Jim Northrup, Al Kaline, Bill Freehand, and the great pitching staff. Larry Sherry, Don Mossy, Mickey Lolich, Denny McLean, who I believe is the last 30-game winner.
I think so.
I think he's the last 30-game winner. Mm-hmm. So basically, those are my memories. As I say, that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
that got me into sports. And I did play, I played Little League Baseball.
Nice.
I played shortstop.
Okay.
And I played whatever they call it, Little League, Pony League. And I played 1 year of football. I was I don't remember if I was offense or defensive guard, but that wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So that didn't last very long. So, But that's my passion again is sports. I love it.
I mean, every time I visit you at your store at the Postal Annex here in Poway
on Pomerado Road in the Target Shopping Center.
Yes.
Give a little plug.
Yeah. Well, I plug you all the time on my
you.
podcast because we always have a great conversation. And it's like when I visit your store, it's like I feel like I'm Norm at Cheers.
Yeah.
And I walk in like, hey, John, hey, what's up? Yeah. How you doing? What have there been any other like famous people that have come into your store?
All right, let's go back. Matt Kemp, the manager of the Angels.
Phil Nevin.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they come in, I look at them, and once I go, I say to myself, "Damn, you look familiar," and I don't want to say anything.
How?
Yeah, Bill. Oh, you talking other than sports?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, this was like I think it was like Christmas time. Sorry to say, we're busy at Christmas time, and people have to wait a little while.
A little bit,
yeah, a little bit, and that's the way it is in the shipping business. I hear this voice, and I look down. I go down and look towards the door, and there's a guy standing there in his blue shirt. And I looked at him, and I just said, "Hey, we know how." And it was Bill Howe.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of other ones that have come in that. I had Mike Pomerantz.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have one of our things we do at the store. If FedEx wants to deliver a package to you and you're not home, they will not leave the package. So they redirect it to our store, and the FedEx driver will bring it in and hand it to me. And I looked at the name, and I saw Mike Pomerantz. I go, "What are the odds?" Right? I don't remember one day or so later, he comes walking in, and I look at him. Of course, I knew who he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that was a thrill.
He's really tall, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he was a pitcher. I know he pitched in
I don't know that.
He pitched, I think, in the Twins organization.
Did he?
Yeah. And I think he had some arm trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pomerantz. I'm sure there's other ones. And if it hits me, I'll interrupt whatever we're talking about.
No, it's all good. So tell, if you could, tell me a little bit about the story about how you you came to Poway. How did you work your way down here and then get into the business?
Well, let's do this. Okay. I lived in Corona. Okay. And my wife passed away.
Oh,
okay. And my daughter, and I had this big, and I call it a bit, not like your place, but a 2,500 square foot home, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, with a beautiful pool. And I lived there by myself. And my daughter, who still lives, she lives in Encinitas. And she said, "Dad, you need to get down here, get out of there." Because she always called it the desert. Right. Because it's really hot up there during the summertime.
Yeah.
When you say hot, it's hot here too, but up there,
it's different.
It's worser. Okay. So anyway, I eventually sold the house, and I moved down here with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, which was my wife's sister and husband. And I looked for a place, and I moved into the village in Carlsbad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I lived in the village, and I could walk to, don't take this wrong, people, I walk to the bars, I could walk to the beach, I could walk to the restaurants.
Well, yeah.
That type of thing. So I was on a certain job, and I was working, if you're interested in this.
Yeah, I
was, after I sold my home, I came down here, and I was working for a company that our passengers were kids with autism and adults that had some type of special needs. And I used to drive them to their school program, or the adults to their medical appointments, et cetera, et cetera. And on one of my deliveries of the lady, this young lady was walking her dog at her job. And I asked the gal that I was picking up, "Who's that?" And she said, "Well, that's Terry. She's my boss." And so, being blunt as I am, I said, "Is she married?" Because I wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hate to put it that way.
Well, I understand.
But so I got out of the car, and anyway, I asked her if she's married, and she said no, her husband passed away. So this is just the way I am, John. I got out of the car, and I said, "My name is Dennis. I am Daniela's driver today. And I said, I'm sorry for your loss. And I gave her a hug just out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, you're that kind of guy.
That's the way I is.
Yeah,
That's the way I roll.
That's the way you roll.
So anyway, and that's just the way I said, have you dated? Said, well, let's go back a step. You know, how long, this is, I don't know how to say it. Her husband passed away 2 days prior to my wife passing away.
Oh,
2 days.
2 days.
So I asked her, I said, well, have you dated since then? She said, no. And I said, well, would you be interested in, you know, going out, you know, and, you know, going to dinner or whatever? And surprisingly, she said yes. So walked into her job site and she wrote down her phone number. And, you know, there's a rule I guess we're supposed to go by. We're not supposed to call them, you know, like, you know, for 3 days after you get a phone number. But I jumped on it that night.
Okay.
Yeah. So our first date was at the Coyote Bar and Grill, which is in Carlsbad.
Oh, I know that place.
On Grand Avenue.
Yeah.
And so it was convenient for me because I could just walk there from my apartment that I had in the village.
Mm-hmm.
So she drove there and we met. And I could tell you what I had to eat, but I'm not going to go into all that. But anyway, to make a long story short, we've been together almost 11 years. And I moved in with her, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're joint at the store.
Nice.
Terry. So that's how I ended up we ended up buying a business.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one we ended up buying, was the Postal Annex, which was back in March of 2015.
Wow.
Okay. So that's how we so that's how we ended up getting together, and that's how we ended up buying the store.
Right on.
Okay.
And it seems like it's been a really good you know, kind of opportunity and experience for you.
Yeah, we've fortunately, I'll just say it this way, we've doubled the business since we took over the store.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so I'll just put it that way. So we do work hard, we do work long hours. My better half, Terry, does have another full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's been on her job for like 20 years. She's a human resources director, and so she does very well. So she's not going to walk away from that.
Yeah.
So I want to say I basically run the store, and then she comes in, and then we close it at night and do it the next day.
Okay, good for
So
you.
that's basically the way it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, let's please give us a plug, if you will. Like, what does your store do, and what are the things you provide to your customers?
Well, we have we rent mailboxes since
Yeah.
Okay, we rent mailboxes. We do shipping. We do domestic and international. We do FedEx. We do UPS. We do post office and international. We do DHL. We make house keys. We do passport photos. We can help you renew your passport. We do live scan, if you're familiar with live scan, ink fingerprinting. I see live scan and ink because they're two separate things for people that need background checks when it comes to getting their job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've been doing that, and we are the least expensive in the county.
Really?
Yeah, so we do more than anybody else because it's volume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we charge probably $10, and $10 is a lot to some people.
Yeah.
We charge $10 less than some other stores. Okay, so live scan, keys, mailing, notary. I mean, we do a lot of notaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I did one person. It was 17 of them.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, dang, I was ready to go home. But yeah, so that's in general, you know, what we do.
Plus a lot of
we
like
have gift
items. Yeah, that's
we
what I was
have
going to
gift
say.
items like key rings and cards. A lot of greeting cards.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people tell us that we have. I hate that our neighbor down the way in our complex, they say we have better greeting cards than they do.
Okay.
So we do a good volume on those. So basically, and we're open 8 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturdays 9 to 5, and closed on Sunday. How's that?
So that place moved in like 2 doors down. Was it Mochi Nut or Mochi?
Mochi Nut. I call it Moochie. Yeah, Moochie.
I mean, that place is doing business.
Yeah, they got standing room only outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when your order is ready, they do a little ding dong, and you go in and pick up your donut for whatever.
Right.
And they sell corn dogs with cheese and corn dog this and corn dog that. Yeah. So they're doing very well. And the guy that owns it, this is his second store.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Well, good for you. I mean, it's kind of a neat little like corner there, right next to Target in Poway, right?
At 1/4. No, just kidding.
But there's like, the Moki Nut. There's the Supercuts. There's Postal Annex.
Nope.
There's that.
Back up. Great Clips.
Pardon me.
Yeah, not Supercuts. Great Clips.
Pardon me.
That's
Pardon
okay.
me.
We're right next door to Great. I didn't mean to correct you, but
No,
just
no,
so
you
people know.
You need to correct me.
No,
Yeah.
to Great Clips.
And then the restaurant next door to you is
the Villa Capri.
Yeah,
which I recommend very highly.
That's a beautiful restaurant.
Yeah, they do very, very well too.
Yeah, and then they have opened up like a boot camp or something right next to them.
Yeah, that's the basically the women's fitness place where they go in there and work out and sweat and lift 20-pound balls on their shoulders and and they run through the parking lot and I go out there and root them on and say, "You got this," and root them on because it's fun.
Yeah. So it's a nice little nook there, a little corner of the shopping center. But that shopping center, I think once that Amazon Fresh opens up, I mean, there's going to be some changes. Hopefully a lot more people flowing in. Could be good for your business.
Well, the last, I'm going to say it on air. The last rumor I heard, they're not opening until February 1st.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the last I heard.
So that's a big delay. I thought they were targeting September.
Yeah, well, that was 2 years ago, September.
Yeah.
2 years ago, September. I don't know what the issue is, but the last I heard, again, I'll repeat, was February 1st of 2023. So things are always subject to change, but that's what I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to get back to our audience here, we are live streaming. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience right here in this camera. So we are live streaming. So if you are watching the show here on Facebook or YouTube and you have a question for my man Dennis here, just type him into Facebook or YouTube. We'll see him on our screen. And you kind of want to talk about Dodgers or Lakers, or you want to talk about the Kings or LA or anything really, so we'd be happy to take your thoughts and comments.
Or if you want to make an appointment for a live scan.
So
we also rent U-Haul trucks. That's another thing.
You do?
Yeah, we have a U-Haul truck that we rent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. So crazy. So when was the last time you were at Dodger Stadium?
God, it's been I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We went and saw a Dodger Giant game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dodger Giant game, and the Giants won. It's been a long time ago.
Well, I have a good event that happened to me at Dodger Stadium. I think I told you this before, but I was there with 4 of my buddies from college, and this is probably maybe 10 years ago or so. And we had tickets right behind home plate, but on the second deck, maybe like 3 rows from the edge. So it was a really good seat, and the game was good. It was Giants and Dodgers because my buddies came down from San Francisco and to watch the game. And Michael Turner was batting. He used to play for the Braves and then the Giants, and he hit a ball that was a foul ball, and it was coming straight back at us because we were right behind home plate. And I've been to a million baseball games, but I've never caught a foul ball ever. And suddenly this ball is coming right at me, and I'm thinking it's gonna happen. Yeah. And when it's coming straight up from home plate, it's got wicked backspin, and I went to catch it with my bare hand, and it bounced off my hand and hit me in the mouth.
Ouch.
And then I went flying backwards. I landed in the lap of this poor lady next to me. And then the ball went flying somewhere else, probably has my DNA on it. But I think that wasn't my last time at Dodger Stadium, but it was maybe the second to last. But I'll tell you what, I really, I mean, it's hell getting in and out of that place. Yeah. But it is a great stadium.
Well, I'm going to give you a similar situation story.
Okay.
My wife and I, we went to a Dodger Angel game at Anaheim. And again, this has been a long time ago. And a foul ball came back. It hit her in the leg. No, that's a true story.
Okay.
And the, what do you call them? The ushers?
Yeah.
The ushers ended up coming down and taking her down to the doctor's office or whatever they call it.
They have a little first aid station.
Yeah, first aid station.
Yeah.
There you go. So that happened to my wife. And she had a pretty good sized bruise for a long time. Sorry to laugh.
Were the seams of the ball like indented into her skin?
Oh, I was scared out of my what. Yeah. So similar situation, but you got hit in the face. That's
Yeah,
worse.
it was worse.
And your faces look like that ever since?
Yes, it does. I got donked pretty good. And the crazy part about that is that I back then, like 10 years ago, I had orthodontics. I had braces in my 40s. And that hit me. And then you can imagine the ball hitting your lip and then it hitting your braces.
Yeah,
And so it was a bit bloody. And the same thing as the ushers came rushing down. Do you need any help? And they gave me ice. And the whole time my friends were just laughing their asses off.
I think it's funny because it wasn't them.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me laugh at you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, anyways, it's you enjoying yourself? You having fun during this podcast?
Oh, hell yeah, man. This is great.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah. We've talked about this for so long, and I finally said, let's do this.
Yeah.
And here I am.
And here you are.
Yeah.
So, that's the beautiful part about this. We just hang out.
Yeah.
We just talk, have some fun. Two guys hanging out, talking sports.
Okay. I will ask you, though, because I'm not familiar with podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. How does it work? I mean, do you get paid? Do you have commercial endorsements? Do all those people that tagged in on you, does that give you points?
No, well,
both of them that called?
both of them. Not very many people. So here's no. First of all, I don't make any money doing this. Okay. In fact, I spend money doing it.
Okay.
So it's for me, it's like a hobby, a glorified hobby on one level. On a second level, I own a marketing agency. So in a way, what I'm doing here, the things I'm learning with audio and video and some of the video editing I'm learning is directly translated into some of the work I do for some of my customers. So in a way, this is kind of like a laboratory. But yeah, I would love to make money doing this, but I'm not Joe Rogan with 11 million viewers each podcast. So I've started up some e-commerce businesses selling things, that are linked to my podcast. But still, generally, it's a kind of a glorified hobby.
Oh, good. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm glad I came.
Yeah. So, just have a good time. And then, a lot of times we're interviewing people here in our hometown of Poway, so we've had, authors, community activists, athletes, coaches, political candidates have been on this program. Broadcasters, like Hacksaw. So and all of them have been local folks, so we've had some really nice conversations with people. And the beautiful thing is that the nature of the podcast is that it's a long format. So we can talk for as long or as short as we want, and people can listen or watch as long or as short as they want. And sometimes the people that are viewing really get great value, especially like when they're trying to decide, because when we interview candidates, they don't know who these people are. So we have these long interviews and people get to know them. Just like I think the audience is getting to know you.
Oh,
yeah. But it's good, because, you're we'll say this, a pillar of the community, because you're a business owner in Poway, and that has a certain degree of cachet in the community, and it's good for people to get to know you, and hopefully they do business with you. But at the minimum, it's nice for people to know who the business owners are in the town, and are they people that they like and they can trust and they want to have a relationship with. And that's another great thing that comes from this podcast.
Cool.
So it's all good. So what else? What do you have in store for the rest of the weekend?
We're meeting friends for dinner at the Yard House in Carlsbad.
Okay.
So we're doing that later on this afternoon. Okay, and then go home and lay on the couch and watch Sunday night baseball and go to bed.
Okay. What are the Dodgers? They're playing in Miami, right?
Yeah, actually, they're playing right now.
Yeah.
There was a 9:00 tip-off this morning.
9:00.
Yeah, they had and they play again tomorrow too, I believe, in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a 4-game series that spans for the weekend.
Maybe it's got something to do with the late start of the season or something.
Yeah, they've been kind of cramming some games in here and there.
Yeah, I believe it's at 9 today, and I don't know what time tomorrow. And then I think they're off to the old Shea Stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the Padres are playing right now as well. So we should wrap it up and go watch the game.
You're in control here, man. Whatever you want to do.
But I want to thank you very much, Ness, for coming out here. Yeah. And I know it's, you know, you're here in the studio. We got the lights and the cameras, and it's not easy. And it's not, you know, it can be a little bit, you know, nervous.
Okay. Well, I would say I think I'm more comfortable than I thought I would be.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I want to make it comfortable and easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I want to thank you for coming on.
Good. Handshake on the air.
Yeah.
There you go,
there
man.
You go.
There
yeah,
you go.
Thanks,
John.
Okay.
All
right. Well, thanks a lot. Dennis.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let's wrap this bad boy up.